Good day guys, my name is Lord Tomo, here again with another Sonic the Hedgehog toy item collectible review. As you already know, my name is Lord Tomo, and we have the blue star here, Sonic the Hedgehog. He's actually not doing anything weird today. Why is that? Could be the new year and his new year resolution, or the fact that this is a review that pretty much blows everything out to proportion, where anything that he does do is completely going to be obsolete to anything that he can or will do in the future. We will get into it and we shall review it. It's probably one of the most legendary items out there in the Sonic the Hedgehog community, if not out there in general. Obviously there are, legendary items in the respective fields, Mario, Zord, etc, etc. In this case, this is classed as one of the biggest ones of a few that are legendary in the Sonic the Hedgehog community. It is the legendary box of shoeboxness. Now, what makes this so... No, I'm just messing with you. It's what's actually inside it. Just a little trivia out there. There's a video that I did, I'm not quite sure which one it is, where I actually took this out, not the actual content, but the box itself, and I said this is probably one of the legendary items. Nobody actually called into what it might or can be, but I figured, I'll throw that as a trivia if you ever want to check it back at one of the videos. What is the actual item? It is the legendary, and if not infamous, Sonic the Hedgehog 10th anniversary wine glass. Signed by probably two of the most important people out there in the actual Sonic community. One is currently not working there now, which is Yuji Naka, and there's another one called Takashi Iizuka, if I'm not mistaken. Now, what makes this legendary, before we get to the actual obviously contents and my reviews and my thoughts of this, etc, etc, and rarity and price, and by mind you, this is astronomical in ways beyond I could possibly imagine. But look, let's go to more or less I shall do this, and people can go wow. Actually, you know what, this is just a standard box. I'm not going to go too heavy on the review. I'm actually going to show you the actual front and talk briefly about it. Basically, the legend has it. I like to say legend because it's one of those things where you're just like, whoa, it's pretty massive out there. But more or less, the myth or the legend, or I wouldn't say myth, but one of the legends out there is in the 10th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog, or leading up to the 10th anniversary Sonic the Hedgehog, there were 4 legendary items, which I like to call legendary, it has a nice name to it. There are 4 legendary items that were released, plus the 5th one, which is this. The 4 legendary items were available to the public. One of them was a Sonic the Hedgehog cube, which I have, a Sonic the Hedgehog ring, a Sonic the Hedgehog statue, a Sonic the Hedgehog birthday pack, and they were all readily available, obviously in small quantities of course, to the public. This, however, was not actually available to the public. It was actually given to the Sonic team, pretty much the Sonic team, the employees of the Sonic team. Now what that means is, to celebrate obviously the 10th anniversary, this was actually made, manufactured, signed by obviously Yuji Naka, I was about to say Sonic the Hedgehog, Yuji Naka and Takasa Iizuka, and it was actually given to the employees of Sonic the Hedgehog. Obviously, over the years, things gradually obviously weeded out and eventually was more or less made to the public by those employees who obviously wanted to make a quick buck. Why I say it's a legend, or why I'm just calling it a legend, is simply because it's nothing that's 100% pretty much, in my personal opinion, concrete. I like to have things pretty much written down to make it proof, but a lot of the fans are saying that's the case, and to be honest, it actually sounds reasonable. But then again, why would somebody you've been working with for so long get ecstatic over a wine glass given by their boss signed? It's pretty, what's the word for it? It's pretty, uppity. It's pretty, standoffish, if that's what... No, I wouldn't say standoffish. It's pretty egotistical, in other words. But that is the word that goes around it, and this is pretty much one of the most infamous items out there. There is another item which regretfully I never won, which skyrocketed quite a few to about $5,000. It was a Sonic the Hedgehog sketching done by a artist. I don't quite remember his name, but regretfully I never won this. But for the overall box, it's just a standard box, nothing too crazy in there. Obviously over time it obviously was meant to be white, but this is gradually worn down, and obviously this is what makes it pretty much one of the pieces that makes it legendary, obviously by the fact that it's exclusive and extremely hard to find, and also for the fact that it was signed by Yuji Naka and Takasa Iizuka. So what's impressive about this? Obviously his signature. You can't go wrong with signature by one of the founders of Sonic the Hedgehog, and obviously the sign, which is the 10th anniversary Sonic the Hedgehog. Now let's take out this puppy. Now it's pretty much just has like a little styrofoam, which basically adds to the effect. But this is pretty much the creme of the creme, the hallelujah, if I pretty much the holy grail of the Sonic the Hedgehog community. This is the wine glass. Now it does come with obviously something else, which I will show you first. Before that, it comes with this. This is what I mean about that. It's a bit itchy on the details, in the sense that, you know, it's a bit egotistical that they'll add this, but it comes with, for the better of the word, a certificate of authenticity. I guess what you can call it there. It just has a little card that says Sonic the Hedgehog 10th anniversary. Nothing on the back, obviously, besides the word Sega and Sonic Team. And if you open it up, I'm guessing, obviously I can't read Japanese, but I'm guessing it's saying congratulations for working for us for X amount of years. If you can see it, I'll bring this closer. If you can see it and maybe pause it and read it out to yourselves, that would be awesome. But obviously my webcam isn't best. And you have obviously the logo, which is you know, the 10th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. And you have obviously Yuji Naka, which is on the side there. Pretty impressive. Everything that you see here is pretty much what's meant to come in it, of course. Obviously if you're missing a piece, you've got to obviously question the validity. Is that even a word? The validness of, I'm just making up words now. Now this is the actual wine glass. Now the wine glass itself, oddly enough, was actually mass produced and as a bootleg, and a lot of people more or less purchased it, obviously the bootleg. Now they obviously just made that, but not the actual casing and everything, which was kind of itchy. But this is the wine glass. I hope you can actually see it. It's pretty much engraved with the Sonic the Hedgehog logo, which I hope this can see. Yeah, you can see. It's just a wine glass. You just put wine in it, of course, or beer, whatever you want to use, and you can drink away. The base is nothing. Basically, and I'm going to put this aside, I'm going to be super careful with this. And this is the actual casing of it itself. Pretty much that's where the wine glass sits perfectly. It kind of rests there like a throne to the king. To the throne. Stuff of that nature. So basically that's more or less how it looks in terms of the actual thing. Now overall, from an artistic point of view, I wouldn't say it's gone too crazy out of the way, but it does look superb. Now what makes this item extremely, you know, great in my personal view and my, you know, personal thing is, without its, I guess, backstory, or as I like to call the legend behind the wine glass, behind all that, you can't really necessarily say, oh, it's just a wine glass, it's nothing special. But if anybody knows anything about Sonic, having one of these, you know, obviously legends is pretty much classed as just the ultimate, to be honest. It's pretty much the creme of the creme. This is pretty much, for a gamer, for the Sonic community, the it item. Now obviously they have their own personal likes, but this is pretty much the it item for a lot of Sonic the Hedgehog, you know, the fans, if you can call it that. Obviously, as a gamer in general, or a hardcore collector of gaming memorabilia, this is probably going to be one of them, amongst others, I suppose. But this is definitely one of them. So, let's talk the nitty gritty, shall we? Now, is this extremely hard to find? Look, rarity 10 out of 10, straight up. I've never used that in any of my reviews, and this is the first item amongst many that I have that will be classed as a 10 out of 10 rarity. Extremely hard beyond anything imaginable. Any reviews, any forums, anything that talks about memorabilia and rarity and all that sort of stuff, this was most likely probably be one of the ones that are most debatable, and most people are going to be like, whoa, are you absolutely kidding me? So if you have this in your collection, you're pretty much gold, you're pretty much legend. This pretty much shuns my whole collection if you really want to think about, you know, whatever. But enough talking about that. So rarity 10 out of 10. How much did I get it? Where did I get it? How much is it worth? Those are the interesting questions that a lot of people, oddly enough, refuse to really necessarily talk about. Where did I get it? I got this straight from Japan. I have a contact. Why is the light dying down? No. There we go. Now, I don't know, that was weird. Now, I got this from Japan, and I got this from a Japanese website. I think it's Yahoo Japan at the time. I had to basically have my contact there, ask a few questions just to see everything was there, which was this, and this came out to be legit. Now, there was at least 100 different bidders, and initially I was selling it for maybe $600, but then I was like, you know what, this is probably going to be 1 in a million chance, because on eBay I've only seen this once ever. I've seen this twice on eBay. I will get back shortly to that. So to be honest, realistic speaking, I got this for about $1,000, 1,000 Australian dollars, shipping and everything. Pretty pricey, yes it is, But let's get down to the realistic. How much have these been sold? I've seen one of these being sold for about 1,500. So if I was able to sell this, I could probably make $500 profit. However, a couple of months ago, I think about a month, no, yeah, I'll say 2-3 months ago, I actually saw one go up in eBay for 2,500. I would not kid you not. And that was actually sold as well for 2,500 US dollars. That's pretty much, if I ever did, which I probably won't, but that's a profit of 1,500 instantly, just like that. Yeah. So at that stage, I realized two things: A, I'm sitting pretty much on a gold mine, and B, there are hardcore collectors out there, which I'm curious to know who they are and what they have, because I'm yeah, just astonished about that, to be honest. Now, I want to find this, look, just anywhere and everywhere. I could not give you tips. I found this by completely out of chance. Basically, I've obviously, as I mentioned, a Japanese contact who buys stuff from Japan for me, anything that I don't have or not. And she came across this and she said, look at this, do you have this? I'm like, oh my god, I have to have this. Not for the regular collectors, of course. If you're passionate or hard, I'm not even gonna say passionate. You know, everybody can be passionate of Sonic the Hedgehog in the various levels. But if you're more or less, I would say, a little fanatic in my books, which I think I am, I've been told when I tell people how much I paid for this, and a little hardcore than usual, this is definitely a nice pickup. Obviously, you know, if this could be the one and only item that you ever have in your collection, or you can have other things. You know, it really makes no difference. The good, I guess the best thing about being a collector of anything is just, you know, the community and just enjoying the actual thing. So that is probably the story behind probably one of the most infamous and legendary items out there. And yeah, definitely worth a catch if you ever manage to get one. Now, I don't know what else to really say about this. Am I impressed with the overall quality? Even if this wasn't legendary and it was just brand new and whatnot, look, I'll definitely love it. I'll definitely enjoy it, you know, for what it was. But the fact that it has such an interesting and introverted sort of backstory, and such a very interesting, you know, backstory and where it came from originally, Japan and whatnot, adds so much more history to this. I can pretty much have this on display and people will be like, oh, what's that from? And I'll give them a story and they'll be like, what? So yeah, so guys, I would honestly like to hear your opinions of this item and your thoughts on this, because it's definitely something that I would definitely like. I only know of one other person that's actually had this item and obviously reviewed this item. You can definitely check him out on eBay. He's obviously more popular than I am in his channel, but you know, that's obviously not what I do. What I do here, I just want to showcase what I have, my thoughts of it, a little history about it, just to I wouldn't say educate you, just to entertain you just a little bit more, and just to obviously, you know, enjoying the community that is obviously Sonic the Hedgehog. Anyway guys, I think I've talked way more than usual, and I just wanted to say thank you obviously for sticking by and checking out my reviews and leaving comments when you want to, and just checking me out, not checking me out, but checking the items out and whatnot. I do appreciate it. It's pretty much one of the reasons now that I now make more reviews more often. This is one of many reviews I was going to do. There is other legendary items that I have, which I will review down the track. Who knows when they will be reviewed, as I have hundreds of different pieces. Anyway guys, thank you once again for the support, and obviously watching the reviews, and until the new year, I hope you the best and keep watching. There will be definitely more stuff to come out on a weekly basis and whatnot. Anyway guys, take out, speed on, and peace out.